I don't know all that mean, but we about to go live. hmm Peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours, family. Peace, love, and light. This is No the Ledge Radio, and you are now rocking with the best. Peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours, family. Peace, love, and light. This is all right. Welcome back to another episode of KTL. Just give me a second to get some of these adjustments adjusted. All right. We are going to bring you another impactful episode this evening. All right. Let me get situated to make sure that my host gets in the building. Hmm? All right, you don't have to see anything. I don't see you in the room. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna email you another link. All right, and coming through this link. Okay. Just follow the instructions on this link. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and light, family. All right, welcome back to another episode. You are now rocking with the best. This is your host, Brother Blue Pill. All right, thank you for joining us for another episode of KTL Radio. Tonight is a Financial Freedom Fridays. All right, we have another special episode in store for you, another paradigm shifting episode for you. All right, so I'm gonna let the family get cozy and comfortable. We don't have video again. You dig what I'm saying? But I think that works to our benefit. You know what I'm saying? You just focus on the information. There's a lot of buffoonery online that you could look at. The shit is not worth your eyes. All right, the information comes first and foremost. And this is how it used to be back in the days. You know, when we did KTL radio, family didn't even, get to see the face of the guests or the host. They just had to zero in on the information. And I honestly believe that we were at an advantage back then because everything was so much further upstairs. You know, the minute that people latched on to YouTube and got into the visual game, it just started going wayward, you know what I'm saying? And it started becoming more of a cult of celebrity than just dealing with information. And the information, pretty much can hold its own weight. So it's about the info. I'm not here for the celebrity. I'm not here for the oohs and the ahs. It's just the information, raw and uncut. Yes, and the audio is clear. We made sure of that. All right. So just give me a second. You know what I'm saying? My host will be in the building momentarily and we could get the show underway. Appreciate all of the feedback that we have been getting from the last episode with our brother Ken Brispin. Okay, Tough Talk Tuesday. That was a certified classic. You know what I'm saying? And we're definitely going to be doing more content of that nature, right? So let's see. All right, let me turn on the microphone for my special guest for this evening. Okay, you have heard me speak on numerous occasions on So let's see. Hold on. Let me turn on the microphone for my special guest for this evening. Okay, you have heard me speak on numerous occasions on so let's see. Whoa. Let me turn on the microphone for my special guest for this evening. That ain't gonna work. I gotta figure out what's going on her side. She got feedback. Ah. That ain't gonna work. I gotta figure out what's going on her side. She got feedback. Give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta figure out what's going on her side. Technology is interesting. Man, that shit looping. Yeah. Hopefully that stops the loop, y'all. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna get the hang of it. You know what I'm saying? It's new technology, and I'm operating off of a system that is not necessarily mine, so I can't adjust a lot of the levers that I have to do to give administrative authority for certain things to happen. You know, I'm being you know, I can only do so much with what I got, but I'm making it work at the end of the day. All right. So let me know, is this audio a little bit clearer? Do y'all still hear the feedback? Because I don't hear what y'all hear right this second. So let me know in the chat what's going on so I can situate what I have to do with my guests. Asking, are you only streaming through your phone? So what's good with y'all? You know, it's a Friday night. You could be doing anything other than this, but you here, you rocking with us. So I just want to know what's good with the family before we get tonight's episode underway. Y'all good? You okay? I gotta be mindful that there is a slight delay, you know, streaming from Zoom into YouTube. All right, there we go. Fantastic. Amazing, right? That's what our brother Ken said. I'm doing amazing. Oh, I'm doing amazing too. Yeah, I'm doing Gucci. All right. All right, I'm gonna open the sisters line one more again, see what we get out of this. All right. Peace, Casey.
Please, can you hear me?
Turn your volume up slightly. Huh? Turn your volume up slightly.
I'm at maximum capacity on the volume.
Yeah, I don't know why I hear feedback. Turn your volume up slightly. Yeah, I don't know why I hear feedback. There's feedback and there's delay. Hold on. Whew. Yeah, I don't know why it's looping either. We're gonna get this situated, y'all. And we're gonna troubleshoot in real time and figure this thing out. Try the phone. Yeah, I really think that, you know, it'd be the laptops and stuff like that that has the delays and the reverb and all of that built into it. You feel me? The last two guests that we were working with, they were on their phones. So I think it should work better on the phone as opposed to a laptop. All right. She just replied. She says she's doing that right now. She's gonna start streaming it through the phone. So we're gonna give her a second and we're gonna try that phone thing out. All right. No name. I'm out. Peace. Have a wonderful Friday evening. No name. You dig what I'm saying? But for everybody else, again, I want to say thank you. Just give us a few minutes to get everything situated. It will definitely be worth your wait. Okay. Let's read tonight's description. Okay. I don't know what happened to the description. They done knocked that out. Jeez. What's the old timers say? You can't win for losing. All right. But we in the building. If I got to freestyle it, I'll do that. All right. I know exactly what's going on. So tonight's episode, in the midst of government shutdowns, in the midst of all of this controversy about what's necessary for melanated people to do for the bag, right? In the midst of tax season, when people might have a little bit extra income and, be more so willing to bet on themselves as opposed to betting outside of themselves. We want to do an episode that just brings you a plethora of options of information dealing with one, government contracting, and two, the tools that are available to the family that's looking to to boss up, to make their small business a gigantic investment. You feel me? So that is the energy behind tonight's program. All right, we wanted to make it a very information packed episode, especially for our melanated sisters out there who are at an advantage, you know what I'm saying, in this particular demonstration because of the double criteria that you fit into, one being a member of a quote unquote minority and the other being a woman. And, if you don't fall under that designation, if that's not how you self-identify yourself, you know what I'm saying? And if you got your paperwork popping and this episode is not for you, then please exit stage left. This information in this episode is not for you. And I look forward to the seminars and the forums that you're putting on for the Moabites out there, and you're explaining to them how to boss up, you know what I'm saying, and be industrious, so we can have industrious Moors out here instead of the fucking trolls that jump in your chat room and in your comment thread every time that you do something empowering for your people. They want to tell you who you ain't and what sort of language you can use. And I cringe at the thought that when I was going through that information that maybe I was outside talking like that, because to be on the receiving end and to receive that energy from people who have nothing to say, but, always looking to edit your narrative. You feel me? Like, that has to be the most distressing thing ever. People that never brought nothing to the table, but always want to tell you how you're supposed to go about doing business. I remember for every other opportunity and day that I got around Moors, and I used to ask them, well, how do you utilize this information to actually become industrious, to boss up, you know what I'm saying, to open a business, you know what I'm saying, to move autonomously, you know, I got a lot of different answers, and not too many of them checked out. And the people that I knew that were providing that information all proved to be scammers at the end of the day. You feel me? 9 out of 10, there's probably one out there that's floating, that's on the up and up. And that information is for private, it's not for public to begin with. So the people that are successfully navigating with paperwork and moving through this matrix autonomously, they're not on the internet telling people, you shouldn't be referring to yourself as minorities or blacks, or you're putting them under this jurisdiction. They're already under that jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? And for those that choose to come out of that jurisdiction, then there should be information available, right, on some Morpheus shit to get them out of that particular jurisdiction. But for those that want to still box in that matrix, that's what the blue pill's for. Feel me? No, I'm not supposed to be on screen. We just dealing with the information. There's really no need for you to look at me tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary. Information and the audio is all that really counts. So that's the forum. That's how we giving it up. Let me see what's going on with her phone right now. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. Peace.
Peace, can you hear me?
I can hear you a lot better. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna just mute my All right. What about now?
I do. I just hear myself in the background.
All right. Let me cut this off then.
Please do.
Boom. All right. What about now?
That's how you're supposed to have been given. Yes.
We're in the building. Okay.
Hmm?
We're in the building, I believe.
We are in the building. All right. Peace, love, and life, family. Let me give this sister a proper introduction. Yes. She needs no introduction, but for those of you that just showing up in the building who have never heard of our sister, this is Casey Cooper, and she represents a collective called the Compass Circle. And I'm sure that she can give the description of the Compass Circle a little bit tighter than I might be able to.
I think that's my cue.
That's your cue.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Casey Cooper of the Compass Circle. We are a collective of women-owned entrepreneurs, and I simply help guide, small businesses to maximize their perceived disadvantages into advantages through government contracting and other contracting vehicles. So thank you for having me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a high honor. We have been singing praise of the Compass Circle, for the last 2 or 3 weeks. You definitely stepped up and assisted during a time when we were at a slight disadvantage with our technology. And, I wanted to acquire podcasting system to step into the next foray of our media endeavors. So on behalf of the Compass Circle, we want to say thank you for assisting us in acquiring this technology, this piece of technology that I'm still learning how to use. But we have it nonetheless. So we're definitely appreciative of what was done on behalf of the Compass Circle and the many other things that we have bore witness to, with you utilizing your platform to showcase upcoming and budding female entrepreneurs. To showcase.
Correct. Well, thank you, Blue. It was really an honor to do it. I mean, I saw the post and I jumped at the opportunity. It was truly indeed an opportunity, and that's how I saw it. So thank you again for letting us sponsor, and I look forward to doing more in the future.
Right. Why do you think that it's so important, to have a company such as the Compass Circle that pretty much focuses on female entrepreneurs and their perceived disadvantages in the market?
Well, for me, primarily, it started off as, having to be the matriarch, having to be the breadwinner, having to be the head of the household. And just sometimes working in your own energy. We seem to think that working harder automatically equates to more dollars. And, in some cases it may, but I found myself making money, but I wasn't able to enjoy the money. And through a series of trials and false starts, battles, victories, losses, wins, I was able to find my way into contracting, which was a way easier uh, vehicle to maximize what I was already doing. And I was able to make, more money with a lot less effort, a lot less stress, and ultimately, be there for my children pretty much, all day. And so I thought, man, a lot of us are raising these babies, holding down households, being everybody's everything. So for me, it was just, automatic. I just wanted to help them uh, maneuver a lot easier and a lot quicker than the time it took me.
Okay, so you went out into unfamiliar territory, conquered your terrain, right? Got the rules and the tools, feel me? And brought that back to other people who were at the starting line who might have been a little bit more apprehensive about venturing out into the void. Because like you said, as somebody being the breadwinner, you know, there's not too many opportunities for mistakes and failure, even though, we understand that that's the undergirding to business. You know what I'm saying? At least the way I was taught, you're not afraid, you shouldn't be afraid to fail forward.
Right.
But, some people, those risks are too high.
Right.
You feel me? So is that what you're explaining, that, that was the impetus for you putting together this particular collective?
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. I mean, fail forward, man. I don't even know if I guess some of my failures were failing forward in hindsight. But yeah, I mean, just being out there, like you said, going into unfamiliar territory. Um, sometimes not even knowing if you're going the right direction. You just going on what seems to be a whim. And I was successful. And so I thought, I have a really easy life at this point. It took a while to get, to this juncture, but why not share that and pass that along? Because ultimately it's about the babies, in the next, depending on how old your child is, in the next 10 or 20 years, they're going to be running this. So the happier the mother is, in theory, and the better we can provide for ourselves, the better we can provide for the children. So that was really like the catalyst for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I've heard Dame Dash make reference to this word. I like learning new words or what have you. And this word that he's been using quite often is nepotism,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the definition of that is the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So in his previous description, you know, of his paradigm that he destroyed and excommunicated, called culture vultures.
Wow.
That's a conversation for another day. He accused the quote unquote culture vultures of practicing nepotism, right? That they secure industry and they pass it on to their children, you know, every opportunity that they get,
Right.
right? Even though that I remember when I was up at Def Jam, Rockefeller fired all of the melanated women in their staff. No, and he brought in the grandchildren and nieces of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and they had put these people in position that had no knowledge of the music industry, and he surrounded himself with them, right? So he was practicing reverse nepotism, and it didn't work. But that's a
Wow.
whole nother story. But we're talking about building institutions and industry, and raising our children to become the title holders. You know what I'm saying? The almost like, what's that TV show called, Empire?
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to briefly share some of your early initial stories about entering uncharted territories, like for a female in particular? Again, since we can use a lot of the conversation that's taking place on our timelines, and I have to focus specifically on those conversations specifically, but just the atmosphere of them. So, we hear a lot now about how unfair it is, what I'm saying, for women who are venturing in uncharted territories and these industries that are male dominated. You
Right.
know, did you experience any people trying to take advantage of you initially? Did they just not take you serious?
Oh wow.
Feel me? Like, what sort of walls did you have to knock down to be seen and heard?
So initially, I started with a trucking company in 2006. I started with one dump truck, and I thought it best to learn how to drive it and operate it in case anything ever broke down.
Now, I mean, normally young girls play with Barbie dolls. You was playing with Tonka toys.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much.
w- okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just had I don't know, some just like, I called myself not wanting to have to work. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this dump truck, I'm gonna put somebody in it. But, Murphy's Law definitely was at play that year. And, I hired a couple people, but, nobody cares about your stuff the way you do.
I know
So
that's right.
needless to say, I was like, man, I got to learn how to drive this thing. So I found like a mechanic shop of some people I knew, and I walked up, to the lot, and I'm like, can y'all teach me how to drive? And when I say they laughed me off the lot, like laughed me off the lot. And that was because I was a woman, I had on heels, I had on lipstick, and they were like, girl, you ain't driving. So I found somebody else, and like literally 2 weeks later, I was on the road driving, like 4 shifts every day.
Mm.
So, that was my first, like, I can do this moment.
Right.
So I did that for a while. Oddly enough, though, on the job sites, because the type of hauling I was doing was primarily for construction sites. And I would be like the only female. And like the men would argue and they would kick each other off the job behind me. Like if one of them spoke to me or had too much conversation with me. I mean, it's been times literally like they would kick each other off the job. It was the craziest thing. Um, so that's another example, like, being isolated almost because you are a woman, or this one doesn't want this one to talk to you, not realizing that nobody stands a chance.
Right.
And so I kind of did that for a couple of years, and I was making good money, but again, it was hard money. I was on the side of the road. I would break down sometimes, all kinds of things would happen out on these highways. And I
Right.
was like, man, I gotta work smarter. I gotta make more, but have less, risks. And that's when I really started, going to like events, outreaches, workshops, and really getting my feet, arms, and legs and everything else into what was really available for small businesses. It's a lot of resources out here, whether
Yes.
people just don't know or don't check or whatever. But I really turned over every stone to get to where I am today.
Okay.
And so, as I kind of expanded on the hauling, I wanted more, 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 more money, more money. And I found my way kind of segueing into construction, general construction for commercial sites, on the federal side for the government. And so on this side, it becomes, the money is like limitless. I mean, it's nothing for you to have a $20 million, $40 million contract. Like it's nothing.
Right.
But I was met with, the stakes are higher. Um, the contracts are more intense. Everything is more amplified. And a lot of times to pull off these huge jobs, you need a big brother company to kind of, put you under their umbrella.
You need a cosigner.
You need a cosigner, definitely.
Okay.
And so I would have these meetings with these, white men, 60 years and older, and they would look at me like, what are you doing here? You want to do construction? It was kind of like the same thing I was getting, in the other arena. So again, it was, it's always been there. Um, Men do treat women differently, period, than they treat men, especially in an industry that's, primarily men.
Right.
And so for me, it's like, okay, you want to play ball or you don't. I'm gonna make my money regardless. And so that's been my attitude, and that has really been working for me.
Interesting.
Right.
Now, information, right, can be
Mhm.
conveyed and transferred to somebody else, but oftentimes attitude can't.
Right.
So, from what I'm listening and hearing, is that, it's kind of necessary for you to have a particular edge in this environment. You know, how Jay-Z says, how to move in a room full of vultures.
Got that right.
Can that be taught, or is that something innate?
You know what, Blue? I'm gonna go with a little bit of yes and no to both. As you said, you can teach a person the the policies and the procedure,
Mm-hmm.
but there are times when it's gonna require a little, je ne sais quoi. It's not always about
Oh,
if you teach
we're gonna have to look that up.
uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You
It's
know,
it's the finesse game. It's who I got a ball, who's got the bat. I got a mitt, who's got a ball. You have to, just because you don't have something doesn't mean you can't go after that opportunity. At this level, the name of the game truly is teaming and partnering.
win, 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 win.
Win, win, win. It's very few companies on their own, especially small companies, that can facilitate a $10 million job, a $13 million job. So they link up with other companies who might not have, a certain component that they need to get it done. And you just keep repeating that process, over and over and over.
So, like most things in life, this is really based on relationships as well.
Oh God, absolutely. Your relationships are paramount, in this business, especially when you're first coming in, trying to get your first major breakthrough.
Yes.
Um, and it can go luck of the draw. I mean, I know women who have, gotten certain certifications, and a month later the phone rings and they're offered and given, a $5 million contract. It happens for everybody differently, but it doesn't happen for you if you're not in the pond. You have to get to the
Right.
pond.
It's like Lotto. You got to be in it to win it.
You got to be in it to win it. But once you hit, it's worth it.
Now, are there certain advantages, like you said, or incentives for minority women contracts that are just sitting with certification? Let's say, like you said, somebody just might get that call because it's beneficial for someone else to swoop down because they could get all kind of federal subsidies for putting a minority woman on.
Absolutely. My first two federal contracts that I received. Um, so anybody that knows or don't know, I'll just give you a little bit of history. The federal government has X amount of dollars per year they have to spend per project or what have you. And so if they don't spend that money, then the following year, that money is no longer, made available to them. So you have certain times of the year where the government is pretty much just dumping money, picking up the phone, calling people, digging through a drawer, trying to find somebody who can fulfill this need. They may have never heard of you, you know, in their life.
Right.
But if they have 30 days to spend this money, and I'm talking about trillions of dollars, they're literally picking up the phone, calling you. So I got a call one day, about a contract up in Warrenton in Leesburg, Northern Virginia, asking, do I do snow removal? Now, I did trucking, um, but I didn't do snow removal at the time. But I damn sure wasn't going to say I don't offer that service.
Right.
And so that's a contract that I've had now for 2 years. One contract turned into two. And I actually make about $230,000 in about 5 months on those two contracts. And I literally do not leave the house. Like, I literally make one phone call, send my guys to go do the work. They invoice me. I invoice the government. and they deposit the money in my account. It's the easiest money I've ever made in my life, ever.
Voila.
Voila,
Magic.
magic.
Wow. I mean,
Right.
the title of this show is Financial Freedom Fridays, and that
Right.
seems like a pretty, that sounds like this is the sort of financial freedom that a lot of people will be willing to buy into. You feel me? So
Absolutely.
how does one go about putting themselves in a position to become financially flexible like that?
So I tell all the people that I coach, you just have to get here. And when I say get here, I mean you have to get to the federal arena pond. In order to do that, there's a few ways you can go about it, but you want to take, again, like as I said in the beginning of the show, you want to take your perceived disadvantage and turn it into an advantage. So, for instance, I'm a Black female, so that's two minorities that I'm able to check off.
Right.
So the more designations you have, the less competitive it is for you, and the more attractive it makes you to the government. There's a series of, God, I mean, it's a process. You have to be vetted. It's a series of permissions and logins and accesses you have to be granted. But for the most part, it's nothing you can't do. And we do offer coaching, and we do offer all the certifications. We can either help you self-certify or show you how to do it on your own. And it's just like a process, just like with anything else, like getting a social security number. It's just a process you have to go through with the government.
Now, is this is a procedure or service that's offered by yourself, or this is offered by the Compass Circle?
Well, it's offered by the Compass Circle. I do assist and, do the overview and just make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So I do oversee it, and I do have my hands in it to a degree. But we do have a team that helps. I mean, there's no way I could do, all of these services that we offer completely by myself. So I
And
do
how
have.
successful have you been with working with other female subcontractors with you know, snagging these whales?
Actually, the women are the ones who rally to your defense. Surprisingly, I have a mentor. She's like 53. She has a $750 million contract with the Navy. So to have her to have her expertise and her knowledge at my fingertips, we go to dinner, we go to lunch, we hang out frequently. And even, if I needed nothing from her, no information, just to have her and to know what she's been able to attain, and just to have her in my life to say, hey, I'm doing it, you can do it. That would be enough.
Right. Now,
Fortunately for me, okay.
this is a melanated woman.
It's a melanated woman, and she's not the only one either. It's quite a few of them.
This is not Olivia Pope that we're talking
No, this is not. It's not Olivia Pope.
Okay. I'm listening.
And she's not the only one. I mean, it's a rack of them. I mean, I could call them, and I can call them. I visit them. I spend time with them. I mean, it's nothing for Miss Catherine. She owns a construction company here locally. $30 million in her pipeline at any given time. I mean, these are real women, real Black women. Late 40s, early 50s, getting it. 200 employees nationwide. I mean, these are like huge contracts. So you just have to decide, how far do you want to take this thing? Do you want a 500, person company, or do you want a 10-person company? Because everything's possible. So how far do you really want to take it? You want to take it to 7 figures, 6 figures? Where do you want to take it? It's all here.
Now, it's interesting. You opened up and you said a perceived disadvantage, turning a perceived disadvantage into an advantage. And I was speaking earlier about some of the blowback that I was getting from the last episode, and as much information was shared and as candid as that conversation was, I got two streams of thought that was thrown at me. One was, why does the brother use nigger so much? Right. And then the second was, brother, man, don't you know that we're Aboriginal Moors to the land, and the utilization of black is gonna put you in. And I was like, bro, not right now.
Right.
Not right now. All right. Let
Right.
me talk to the people. You dig what I'm saying? In the language that they understand. Trust me, I get it. I know it front and back. Oh, and then I made a post about, I was like, we don't need to buy back the block. Let's buy back the farm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you can't feed your baby cements, but your
Right.
babies could eat hempcrete. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's a wonderful advantage at a federal level to get involved in the Farm Bill Act. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what sort of designation you could go in there and do that under. So I'm not talking initially to people about allodial titles when I don't have their attention to begin with. I'm
Right.
going to talk about buying. They said, well, that's a misnomer. You can't tell them to buy it because if they buy it with federal notes, it's not their land. And I'm like, bro,
Right.
Jesus. Like, I need you to do two things for me. I need you to present somebody with an allodial title that has farmland, that's producing food that people can actually eat for us to follow an example that exists. One. And two, I'm going to need you to get the hell off my thread. All right.
Right.
And stop being antagonizing, right? And always trying to edit people's narrative.
Right. Right. Right.
So I apologize to the high heavens if I ever did any of that when I was, in my studies and my research and disseminating the information. I was always a student, and I see why people don't get along with Moors. I see why they bang on them. I see why they despise them. You feel me?
Right.
Because that is just so, it's like an acrimonious energy that comes along with that when we're trying to explain to people how to get out of a current situation and do better for themselves. Because every time I spoke to them about how to be industrious, I never got an answer other than things that almost amounted to scams.
Wow.
So what I'm asking you is these opportunities are only available to people who are designated under these particular designations. Like when you were going through the paperwork, is there anything that you ever came across that showed you that someone would be able to qualify for federal grants and contracts if they came under any other designation other than what is understood by said government?
Yeah, and the beauty of this is, so I don't just, and I tell people too, especially what we just saw with the government shutdown. You can always, it's millions of contracts out here, like millions upon millions. Not even at the federal level, you can get state contracts, you can get city contracts, and depending on what's going on in your area right now, I know like a lot of there's a boom with land and agriculture and incentives on farming and housing, all kinds of things. Just depending on where you're located at, you have to really tap in and see what's available specifically to your region or your town or your. But I mean, it's not really difficult once you start, the search. But it's all kinds of things I've seen. I saw last week there was a solicitation out for, they wanted somebody to provide like 13 giraffes. It's all kinds of uh projects out here,
You
either to
said
be
13 giraffes. Would you
13
say?
giraffes. Yeah, 13 giraffes. I mean, think about it. You have scientists, you have biologists, you have chemists, you have all kinds of people who are doing, research, jobs for the government. If you think about all the government facilities in the entire world, that's bases, embassies, any type of government building, whether it's a rec center, a national park, um, colleges, universities, they all need goods, supplies, and services. You cannot, there's no industry that I can't find you some type of contractual opportunity. I talked to a lady the other week. She does like esthetician work. And she was like, well, what can I do? I'm like, you can provide medical supplies. It doesn't have to be, we're thinking too small. Even for barbers, there's
Right,
solicitations where they're asking you, because think about a base that has 500, 5,000 people on it.
right.
They're going to need.
Fixed,
Right, right. So you could get the
fixed
contract,
rotating heads that
fixed
need
rotating
to get
head.
touched up weekly.
Exactly. So you might have the contract to go hire 10 barbers for that base for the next 4 years. Well, you can do that in Ohio, you can do that in Florida, you can do it in Texas, you can do it in California, and you can do it all simultaneously. And because you're the boss and your company has a contract, you're not specifically per se the one cutting the hair. You don't have to know how to do it. You have to know how to get it done.
Right. You have to know how to get it done. You can
Exactly.
really be a boss in the sense of the word rather than just a meme on IG.
Exactly.
For real?
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, these are opportunities for people to maximize their potential, right? If you have the ability to be an organizer, because that's what it sounds like to me. If you have the skill set to organize,
That would be
right,
correct.
and bring players and components together to actually get things done. If you're a task manager, right, if you have management skills, then
Exactly.
this is something that you can do to put yourself in a position, to afford other people opportunities to really be a boss in the true sense of the word. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
that's the true name of this game. And here's the thing, a lot of these jobs, let's say a $20 million job. They know damn well that your little company cannot facilitate a $20 million job. They know that. So you, in essence, in some degrees and in some ways, you become a pass through. So I'm in a program. It's called the 8A program. The 8A program is a program for companies who can show a disparity. And again, you're female, you're black. That's an automatic disparity. This is like a golden ticket per se. So the program is 9 years. It takes about a year to do the paperwork and go back and forth and get it.
9 years.
The program
Years.
lasts. The program lasts for 9 years. This particular program. It allows for the government to just give you. I didn't say bid. I said give. To give you a project up to $7 million in services or up to $4 million in goods, and they can
Wow.
do that over and over and over again for up to 9 years. So she's not a young lady, but a lady in Virginia Beach here locally that I'm partnering with, she just graduated out of the 8A program. And so what they'll do, and a lot of times is if they're about to graduate out, they ate for 9 years. They got familiar with, the contracting officers, they got familiar with the work. And so that's a pipeline that's about to close for them. They'll find a younger 8A company like myself. So this is my second year in, and they'll say, okay, come partner with us so that we can keep getting you the work through your 8A. And so I get the work and I pass it to them. I'm still overseeing the project. I'm still, managing the project, but it's more likely that they're doing the bulk of the work. And it becomes a pass-through situation. So you're learning, you're getting fat. You're learning from somebody who just went through the program. So this woman that I'm working with, at her pinnacle of the 9 years, she had 73 projects going at one time between $1 and $3 million.
73 projects.
73 projects
Mm.
between $1 and $3 million. So, you know, she's huge. And so that's how it works. You have 9 years to get the money, to get the bag. And that's just that's just one contract vehicle. But a lot of people just don't know about it. And that's also a certification that we offer. So to either do it for you or to walk you on how to, become 8A certified.
Mm.
So it's like having a golden ticket.
I mean, that's, truly amazing, especially when you talk about a lot of the perceived quote unquote disadvantages of being a melanated woman, a single parent at that. You dig what I'm saying? And you know, for lack of a better terms, people say the options are very, very slim. Like, I had a conversation come up when women kind of like make sense of stripping.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? And then like, you know, well, what else is there to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to work at McDonald's. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
Right.
And it's like, and then, because to be in that world, you feel me? You got to have a boss attitude to begin with,
That's
right?
true.
So imagine if they applied that same attitude, that same energy towards something like this, where what, like you said, you got to be in the mindset of finessing anyway,
Exactly.
right? So how can we get this information and more of the opportunities to come along with this, you know what I'm saying, to the people that need it the most? What has been your mode of outreach?
I think for me, just being the example that I want to see. Again, when I go into meetings and uh, seminars and different things that I attend, I never see a representation of myself ever. I think I flew to Alabama a couple of weeks ago to go have a meeting, and I saw one young lady. She was like 40 years old. She looked like me, and that was the first time I had ever seen another me in the room. Typically, if the women are African American, they're a lot older, or they're just white old men.
Right,
So for me, it's just been, getting the word out, offering the services, offering the consultations, um, offering the capability statements, just getting the word out through social media, through word of mouth, um, being on your show tonight, getting with other like-minded businesses to really explain to people that this is really possible. Like, I live this. I do this every day.
right,
I take care of my children a lot better than, most two-parent households, because I do pretty well for somebody who, you know, has two kids, is doing this by herself. So I just, I try to be the example and just teach and bring awareness to truly working smarter and not harder.
right. Now, in this field, I know a lot of brothers come home and they get the OSHA or the OSHA, and they get that certification,
Right.
and I know a lot of younger brothers, back home that they go in and get a trade, you know what I'm saying? Whether they electricians or
Right.
carpenters and,
Right.
stuff that they feel, I got a trade, I'm set for life.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's like having a job with benefits. But
Right.
very rarely do I hear people saying, I'm gonna go and get a contracting firm, you
Right.
know, I'm going to find out about hemcrete and be the first one to build back my block out of hemcrete. I'm gonna find out what tiny homes is about. I'm gonna find out about monolithic domes. I'm gonna build a subdivision. I don't meet many builders. I don't meet many people who are architecturally minded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't meet city planners. I don't meet a lot of that. Have you run across brothers in the industry? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the opportunities that you're coming across, can they be afforded towards men as well?
Absolutely. Men are more than welcome. I probably have met, I mean, I can count them on one hand, the black men in my demographic that do what I do. Um, Typically, I hate to say it, and these opportunities are supposed to be afforded to minorities, but again, when I go to these meetings,
That's broad, yeah.
yeah, the people sitting in power are the white folks. So they always find a way to, regardless, have their hand in it. That's just the name of the game. That's just the what it is at this point. But you find out where you can get in and maximize your growth, and you get in and do what you do. Men can do it also. There are total small business designations as well. There's emerging small business. There's partial small business. There's also for anybody that's been in the who's a veteran. There's service disabled vet. Um, there's also Hub Zone, which Hub Zone stands for historically underutilized. It's like historically underutilized part of town. So let's say here in Virginia, where I live, they might be like an old, part of the city where they're trying to bring, restoration and
Hmm.
economic development. So as an incentive for you to put your office there and to hire, a couple of people from that area, you're given that designation. So now you racking up. So if I count, Hub Zone, 8A, woman owned, economically disadvantaged woman owned, I mean, that's like 4 or 5 designations on one hand. that makes you very attractive, again, it's a lot of work you can go after, or a lot of work potentially. They can pick up the phone and say, hey, can you do this? This is set aside for women. I got a call last week from a contracting officer in California, in Joshua Creek. Just because I was,
Oh,
yeah, just because I'm the only one.
you need to
Um,
visit. Joshua
oh,
Creek is beautiful.
is it?
What?
I had no idea. She just called me
Yes.
out of the blue.
Joshua Creek is it's a I would say it's situated on ley lines because it's a very spiritual portal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super.
So it's I think it's gosh, over
Yeah.
200 acres. They
Yes.
need someone to come and do it's trash removal, just dumping the bins. Over 200 acres that they need somebody to come take over this contract. And in 15 years, she's only had one other person did this work. That's
Mm.
crazy. Now that particular project was open to it was just open competition. It wasn't set aside. So she's like, well, we're gonna put it under a small business. Can you bid it? I'm like, absolutely, I can bid it, of course. So if only one person has bid in 15 years because it wasn't set aside for a small business, and she's calling me, emailing me, staying on top of me, you can kind of gather that if she designates it under a small business and no one else has bid, that's you're a shoo in to get that contract. That happens all the
Right.
time. Right.
Mm.
Just like that.
Just like
Just like
just
that.
like that.
Just like that.
So how can people get involved? You know what I'm saying? First the women, second the brothers.
For the women, I would say start studying, woman owned, what that really means. Just being woman owned means you own 51% of the company. You can't own 50, can't own 49. You have to own, the majority
The
share.
majority share, right?
Right. I would get a really concrete understanding of just contracting in general. And oddly enough, a lot of us who are business owners, you're contracting anyways. If you have an obligation and it's written out, it's an agreement, a rate and a term, that's a contract. A lot of us are just contracting anyways. So it's the same thing. You're just doing it on a different level. Um, I would definitely say start researching the SBA, because the SBA definitely plays a large part into this. It's so much, and so many agencies. You're talking about
Right.
Department of Defense,
You said
Department of
the
Treasury,
SBA, correct?
SBA, right?
Small Business
uh,
Association
right, Small Business Administration.
Administration. Okay.
hmm I would start researching government agencies. A lot of people who get into this work, they work for the government first for like a whole 20, 30 years. And then once they see the money that we're making, they retire or take early retirement or whatever. And then they get on this side of it. So they do
They go
well
private.
because, right, because they're so familiar. When I first got into this, all these acronyms, DOD, DOE, DO, I was like, what? It takes a while, especially if you never, you're not familiar at all. I would say just start researching the different agencies, seeing how the government really works. I would definitely, though, and I'm not just saying this because it's my agency, but I would definitely schedule at least a consultation with us at the Compass Circle, because this is not an area you want to walk into alone. It's not an area you want to try to navigate just off the cuff.
Right. The same for the freestylers.
No, this ain't for the freestylers. Some of these contracts are very extensive. We're talking 300-400 pages worth of documents that each line has to be, gone over with a fine tooth comb, because they're laying out the parameters of how they want this stuff done. You figure you get a contract for janitorial work at NASA. NASA is not a place that somebody's just gonna let you, just be walking the halls all willy nilly. So a lot of security clearances are needed, just depending on the type of contract you're going after. But I would get familiar with what the government is really buying, what products they really need, how it really works, to kind of see, well, damn, what can I do? You might want to sell
Right.
ammunition. You could do real estate. You might want to be a personal trainer. It just depends on where you are and what you have and what the needs are, to kind of see, okay, how can I get what can I do? you know.
So, politics aside, you know what I'm saying? How does one pretty much weigh their own personal beliefs when it comes to getting in bed and doing business with the government? Like, what if you get booked to do the contract to build a wall? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's between you and your maker, you know. Like it's a tight rope, you know. It's a tight rope. Like for instance, you know, my beliefs with how the people in Puerto Rico were treated. You know, I saw contracts all the time dealing with Puerto Rico, and I was like, nah, I ain't messing with it. You know, somebody went
Right.
and got that money though. Best believe, you know.
Right.
So it's just, somebody's gonna get it. It's either gonna be you. I mean, you don't have to bid on those particular projects. I could not imagine somebody being on the contract for those children in those cages to have to facilitate, food for that for those children, clothes, whatever other things they may need to have them, there. The people who had to actually bring the cages there. How do you sleep at night knowing that you're supplying the government, you know, with cages to keep children in? So that's just a personal, you know, tightrope you would have to walk.
Mm.
I don't get involved, you know. I stick to my construction jobs. Safe as
Right.
hell. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the government does business around the globe. Um, the people are paying into the government. The majority of the people are tax paying, quote unquote, citizens. You know what I'm saying? They pledge allegiance in some way or another. Um, they're paying taxes to the government.
Right.
Um, you know, but to them, so you know what I'm saying? And they say that the tax-paying dollars goes towards the bombs, it goes towards the stabilization programs. Your tax-paying dollars are being utilized right now to pretty much disenfranchise Venezuela and that regime and
Right.
multiple other regimes around the world. But if the tables were turned and people said, well, go and do business with the government, you're doing business anyway,
Right.
right? Or they're doing business on your behalf. You feel me?
Yeah.
Then people get kind of queasy about that and then they get real moralistic.
Of
You know,
course. Right.
do you think that that's an impediment to people actually getting things done in life and moving on opportunities that have been afforded to them? Because it's funny once again that we would talk about reparations,
Right.
but not take advantage of the farm bill, not
Right.
take advantage of government contracts,
Right.
not take advantage of the very things that are laid out to, like you said, help level out the supposed disadvantages that you have, right? Where the government makes overtures to afford you these opportunities and then you don't move on them either because there be billions of dollars still left in the coffers. I remember I met a
Exactly.
lady, her name was Miss Curry. She was the queen of she did the 501, so grants. She's the queen of grants,
Right.
you know. And that's what she was talking about. Like she's like, look, something this major one year that's a social justice in the news.
Yep.
There's billions of dollars allocated for it the next year.
Yep.
And she says the failure, because you have to get it started. The minute you see it hit the news, you got to get it
That's true.
started
Exactly.
because the money's going to hit next year. And she said the reluctance of people not to prepare for that, but to complain and become social media activists or just bitch and moan, you know what I mean, allows everybody else that knows the game to move in, snatch up billions, and there still be billions left behind.
Right.
That's just on the table that nobody ever gets. You feel me? So it'd
That's
be a lot
right.
of frustration with the elders, women in particular, that know the game and feel the pain, but can't pass this information on to nobody that supposedly frames themselves, right? Fat lipping, fat mouthing about how they in it for the bag,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? But niggas want to pick up some work or go on a swipe-a-thon.
Exactly.
But
It's normally the people on the sidelines who aren't participating that have so much to say, because the people really doing the work are busy making moves, getting other contracts, teaming with other companies. Um, I flew out to Alabama a couple of weeks ago. I'm sitting at the table with a company, that a $200 million company. I'm having another meeting with a company. They just got a $500 million contract that's going to last from February 1st, which we just, passed over, all the way until 2040.
2040.
Yes, it's kind of like, fuck what you think. Like, people are out here making real money. Like, I don't know this bag y'all talking about this nah, like, we're talking about, you can't put this shit in a bag. If it can fit in a bag, okay, that's cute and all, but no, we're talking about real money becoming a real depositor into the economy. So
Right.
you're putting larger companies to work, not people. So if one person calls out, you know, you're cooked. No, you putting the whole company to work. So now you can go put your hands in something else, and you put another company to work. You go put your hands in something else. You put another company to work. So by the time you look around, you got 8 contracts going, and you have
Right.
minimal work. You might have a couple project managers that go oversee the projects, but for the most part, I mean, you know, these niggas is playing golf every day. That's real.
It's real, right?
That's real. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
So, once again, I mean, I know that you're not a psychiatrist, but what do you think, what I'm saying, is the fictional wall between people and the opportunities that are on the other side? You feel me? Like,
I hate to say it, but and not everybody, but it's almost like the what's the saying? You want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. We don't read. We don't. I can't tell you how many events, workshops, seminars I've gone to. Some of them worked out for me. Some of them were a waste of time. But if you don't go and try, it's
right,
almost like you got to shake every tree to see what you don't even know what you're looking for really, but you know it when you see it. How bad do you want it? It's just like with anything else. Niggas want to be rappers. They rapping all day, writing rhymes all day. What you do, what you feed grows. I just, found something and I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I know this money is coming from somewhere. Where's this money coming from? So I kept just, seeking, 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 and I found it. That with anything else, and then too, I mean, culturally, a lot has been kept from us. I mean,
right.
that's a no brainer, right? So, like, even for me, I bring awareness to it because they say we're the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. Well, that should mean that we should have the biggest success rate in my book. So, why is that not the case? Because the people that do what I do are not going to tell you what they do so you can get involved. Why would they want you to be involved?
Right.
You're their
It's a secret
competition.
society.
Exactly. So it's like, it's several reasons, but I mean, whoever's under the sound of my voice tonight, or whoever follows me or sees what I'm into, there's the opportunity right there. You can either take it, let somebody else get it, walk away from it. What are you gonna do with it?
Hmm. Oh, that's right. So, this particular year, you know, is there any projections that you want to speak on? Are there any call of actions that you're involved with? You have anything upcoming that the family needs to know about?
Absolutely. I made a post about this a couple of weeks ago because everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody has a business, but contracting your services to the local, the state, or the federal government, and in any tier of government, you have to have a certain, posture. You have to come across professional. And so when I made a post, and took a poll about capability statements, a lot of people did not know what capability statements were.
Uh-huh.
So capability statements, basically, just for the family listening, is just, it's a sheet. It lays out your past performance, what certifications you have, similar to a resume for a company, but it's just laid out, with certain company data on it. Whether you get it from us, whether you do it on your own, that's going to be key in your presentation, because you have to look polished and ready to take on, whatever opportunities are available. We have a whole suite where we offer the capability statement, design and draft, as well as your website and your business cards. Um, and you can, mix it up. If you feel like I have a website, you want a capability statement, that's something that you can take advantage of. Also, we have subcontractor lists. I know a lot of times, especially people who are in trades, like you mentioned earlier, um, they might be looking for ways to crack into this market. And another way you can do it is by working under people who do, what you're trying to do.
Right.
So an example would be, if you do HVAC, you might want to get with a company like mine. And if I have some HVAC work, I can hook you up with it. We also offer lists nationwide. So if you say, hey, I live in, Flint, Michigan, we can give you a customized list of all the projects going on in that area, so that you can go to those primes and say, hey, I know you have this job coming up, we want to get some work, we want to get in. That's pretty, people look at that, especially somebody in contracting, and you're coming to them as a subcontractor saying, hey, I did my homework. I know you guys have this project. I want to get down, that's smiled upon. So we have those lists also.
Right.
Just different ways you can get involved. And then the certifications also. Those are going to be paramount, just period. You're going to have them, period, to get in this game. So we offer that as well. So, we do all of this to just, again, get you ready and postured to get to the next level, so that you can compete.
Yeah, look, I am not about dragging nobody to the goddamn water and then waterboarding them to drink. You feel me?
Exactly. Right.
It's a lot of information in a
It
short
is.
amount of time that you have dispensed. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody's serious about not only their future, but the future of their progeny, you dig what I'm saying? Then they will follow through and make sure that they contact you and get this cloth, get this information. How can they go about doing that directly?
So we can be found on Instagram. It's the Compass Circle, at the Compass Circle. And I think Empress Brown has put that in the comments, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
she has. Shout out to
She
her.
has.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to Empress Brown. Thank you. You can send us an email, which is thecompasscircle@gmail.com. And or you can visit the website at www.thecompasscircle.com. Any one of those,
Beautiful.
will get you to me.
Whew.
Whew. It's a lot, right?
I mean, it's a whole lot in a short amount of time,
It is.
but I want to make sure that we didn't leave anything out. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything else that you wanted to hit upon?
I did want to say, you guys really, and this is going to be, again, this is going to vary on your state and your city, because every state and city should have a minority, department that you can start looking in. But I was basically given, and this was some years ago, through just looking and, resources available to small businesses again. They gave me $5,000 to have my business plan done. I've been talking to people in my coaching sessions and steering them in those directions, because the business plan is not something you just want to willy nilly put together. Like, that's something you want to have a professional do.
Right.
Another $5,000 for my employee handbook, and then another $10,000 per year for software for my company. So if you add that up, that's $20,000 just given away. I got another scholarship to go to UVA and take a project management course with all the people from Department of Transportation from Virginia. That was like another $5,000. So there's a lot of money that these states have allocated for minority, resources. If you don't look, then that pot gets smaller and smaller and smaller every year. So not only are
Mm.
you doing yourself a favor, but you're doing each other a favor too, because you're letting them know, hey, this is valuable. We're using this.
Right.
instead of nobody showing up. So the programs are
And then
disappearing.
it gets
Right.
dried up, and
Right. Now
those
you
funds
complain.
get allocated to Trump to build a wall. Because I was
Right.
reading where he's
Right.
pulling money from.
Right.
And these are the very things the Republicans come into office and they be like, big government, we need to kill this, we need to kill that program. And these be
Right.
some of the programs that they be
Yeah.
talking about.
But if you're not taking advantage of it,
Hmm.
you can't really complain. So I mean, again, it was no book I read on this stuff. It was just trial and error. And if I could do it, you damn sure can do it. Especially with me showing you and pointing you in the right direction. You
Right.
know, it took me 13 years to get to this point. You know, you can cut down that time 2-3 years. Seriously, just listening to a few key steps and avoiding the landmines that I've already stepped on. I can't tell you how many times I've almost gone belly up so that you don't have to.
Mm.
Work smart and use my past experience to get farther a lot quicker than it took me. That's what I'm here for.
I mean, that's beyond noble. You know what I'm saying? That's you know, that's a million times more than I have heard any other people, organizations and highfalutin names, all of them things afford the people. You know what I'm saying? Your name could be El Bay, Morocco, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. And it's like,
Right.
you know, this is just the camaraderie that you don't find with people that have a whole lot to say and nothing to offer. So what we're gonna do, family, is we do want to take any questions. If you have any questions out there in the chat room, you know what I'm saying, please drop them and we will be sure to see if the sister can answer them in real time. All right, before we conclude tonight's episode, because she just gave you a plethora of information. There's no need to stress this thing. You think what I'm saying? If you're serious about it, you'll follow through. If
You'll
this
follow
speaks to
through.
you, you know what I mean, or somebody that you know, you pass on this information.
That's right. That is right.
You
I'm
know,
not looking at the screen.
we're not gonna do a tough talk Friday. This is not gonna be a 4 hour show.
Go get it. I say that I'm assigned to help a certain group of people. I'm noticing that the people that are coming to me for help, they also have assignments. They also have groups that they're helping. So, I know I'm on assignment, I get it.
Right.
And like you said, everybody's not gonna, I could tell you how to get to the water. I could draw you a map, but at the end of the day, you got to get on your 2 feet and you got to go get it.
Facts. Right. You're not gonna get waterboarded. Um, Aubrey, he said, "How can I get involved from New York?" And he shot his email.
Aubrey, I would just say, I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know at what point he came in the show. I would start looking up, minority contracts, and resources in your town. You can hit us up, www.thecompasscircle.com, at the Compass Circle on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
You can get into contact with me and I can help you. I don't know where he came in at, because I think I kind
Right.
of explained that. But I want to I don't know if I can't see the screen, so I don't know if they're typing or what. But I get a lot of questions, and I think a lot of people get deterred because they feel like if I didn't exactly say your specific industry,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to, it doesn't have to be your specific industry. So to lay it out, I started in trucking, so I still do transportation jobs for the government. Now that's not relegated to just trucking. I'll do courier services. I might bid on a postal contract. And then that kind of got me into construction. From construction, I'll do facility maintenance, I'll do grounds maintenance, I'll do tree removal, snow removal. I mean, it's not just one thing you have to do. you know
Right.
you might have a restaurant. Okay, so you can also provide, have you ever thought about providing food to federal prisons? You can supply just the ketchup to like 10 prisons on a quarterly basis. you
Mm-hmm.
think that's you think that's not $1 million or more?
It
So it's
is.
not just it's not just one. We look at this thing kind of one-sided sometimes because, we're looking at the small picture. And that's fine, we just don't know, but it doesn't have to be exactly how you do it. You don't have to know exactly how to do it yourself. You just have to know how to get it done. And that's the game changer.
Dope. Now, I didn't necessarily want to discuss politics, but I do want to ask you, you know, does the change in administrations, does that necessarily change how the money flows in terms of federal contracting?
It does. It kind of ebbs and flows, just depending on the temperament and what's going on. Even with God knows this clown now. I mean, you just saw we were in. We had a shutdown. Even with like I have two of my contracts were held up, and they were already funded, but because the higher ups on the contracts were furloughed, once when it's time to get paid, if they're not there to sign off, then you're not getting paid. So it just depends on what's going on. It's so much shit going on right now that we just jacked. But when they decide to shift money over here or over there, it does. But ultimately, the government has to have supplies. They have to have certain things. So it's almost like, you can't bite your own head off. So it was a shutdown, yeah, but I mean they're open again. But you can diversify. Like I said, you can have contracts on the local and state level. I got a few state contracts, and they were still going fine. When the shutdown happened. So it's just a nature. Clearly it's the nature of the beast now. We're seeing, but they're gonna always need things, and that's over the whole world. I was looking at a contract yesterday in Guam for some training. They wanted some educational training to send people over there for that. It's limitless. I cannot stress to you guys enough. It's probably one of the best decisions you can make as an entrepreneur for your life and your kids' life and their life. It's a real game changer, like for real.
Right. Now, is this a open opportunity for people to have any sort of criminal record?
It is. It's just gonna depend on what the crime was and how long ago it was. Of course, if you murked somebody, last week,
Hmm.
you might not want to apply.
Right.
But I would say on a case by case basis, y'all can holler at me. I can kind of, let you know, um, according to your own.
What's a go? What's a no go?
Yeah, but everything's possible. I will say, and this is just a little side note. That's why I really like corporations, because corporations let you intermittently add members and change members and get rid of members, so that if you do come into a situation like that, there are ways to, finesse and still get in. It might not be way of you necessarily, but it's still your
Hmm.
company. Get it?
Right.
Wink, wink. Get it? Don't tell nobody.
Hmm. Asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend.
Right. So that was my next question to you was going to be, did the federal shutdown, you know what I'm saying? Did it affect anything that you were doing? Does it affect federal contractors? I think that you just answered that.
Yeah, it's just a toss up. Like, I mean, I got to again. My those contractors were contracts I had are they were already forward funded, but it wasn't every single agency that shut down. There were some that weren't. Some people were affected, some people weren't. My money was there. I just got it delayed.
Okay.
Um, so it just depends. But you just it looked like anything else. You never put all your eggs in one basket. So even though those got kind of held up and delayed, I still had some other ones, on the state level and the city level that were working just fine. So it worked out.
Yes, Queen Tyra asks, do you have to have a business started or can you just be starting up?
You have to have a business started. But listen, and I tell people this also, especially a lot of the people that have been coming to me lately. I really wish I had a me when I was first starting, because even though you're first starting, let's not forget that time is flying. That's number one. By the time you really get yourself to the point where you really know how this is working and what you want to do anyways, you're gonna look up, it's gonna be a year and a half gone anyways. By the time I get you together and you get your capability statement together, your website, you getting all, your representation is all together. You get in all these agencies' databases, because that's another thing you want to do. You want to get each city has their own procurement agency. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
get on that database because a lot of times, especially if a job is like $10,000 or lower, they don't have to bid it. They can just call you and say, "Hey, we need a hole in this roof patch, and it's seven
Right.
thousand dollars. Can you come do it?" You
Swoop
just
in.
want to get into the idea of contracting to these agencies. So that's good practice. While you're getting the 2 years under your feet, and who knows, they may call you and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? You want to get your minority certifications and stuff going." So that's all prerequisites kind of you can be doing, beforehand, because it's going to be a learning curve anyways. You're not just going to jump in it and next week you're going to be contracting. It's not going to work like that. So
Right.
it really is good to start posturing yourself, even if you're just starting. That's probably better than somebody, with 4 years in, and they might, you know, have their stuff going one way and have to make adjustments to get on the right path.
She also, Floss and Daily asks, can you be a sole proprietor or do you need to be incorporated?
No, your business infrastructure has nothing to do with how your company is set up. It has no bearing on uh the designations. The designations and the certifications are what they are, and showing that you can do the work. How your company is set up, whether it's LLC or sole proprietorship or corporation, it has no bearing on your ability to get contracts.
Mm,
None whatsoever.
amazing. Sherry Charlie, it's thecompasscircle.com. She said she typed in compasscircle.com and couldn't find it. Thecompasscircle.com. She said she only found out about compasses and how to use. Indeed. Yes, the compass circle. All right. Um, like I said, family, a plethora of information was dispensed this evening. I have another question though before I conclude. Floss and Daily also asks, what type of capital do you need to get started?
Well, you don't really need any capital. And here's the thing: I don't know if she's asking from a standpoint if she's not started at all. Was that her previous question, or
Yeah.
is she already in business? It's mostly just paperwork. It's mostly just being vetted by the government, getting in these agency databases, and that's no cost.
Yes. And I think we also found out, during the government shutdown, the majority of federal workers are melanated people. And when I go to DC, is a majority melanated women.
Right.
So I don't know if people are really taking that into account that, at the end of the day, what I'm saying? Your, your energy, your blood, sweat, and tears is what's really making this government go around. It's really making the wheels spin. And, your taxpaying dollars are really what's funding, all of the fuck. Sorry, I shouldn't be cursing. But you niggas is complicit. You know what I'm saying? Might as well go all the way in, get something out of it. Level up. I think that's what they say. That's what the young guys say, right? Level up. Get in the game. God damn it. Stop being standing outside of the gate all the goddamn time,
You
pointing
got to get
fingers
in the
and throwing
game.
rotten eggs. You gotta get in the game. Take the blue pill.
Listen,
Come on
everybody
now.
and their mama has a business, right? Everybody's self-employed, right?
Are they?
I mean, everybody got a business nowadays. I do this, I do shoe shine, I do audio, I do this, I do that. There's something out there for everybody, and you're already doing it. Why go try to get one customer when you can get a whole contract? That's gonna give you, all the work on two bases. That doesn't even make sense. And
Right.
then you hire a company to do the work for you. You just manage it. That is
Yeah.
the name of the game. These white folks ain't working hard
At all.
at all. And guess what? I ain't either. That's over. I'm not
I
doing
know
that no
that's
more.
right.
Yeah, it's over.
I P Fab 40 X. Do you need the SIC code done number to place bids?
It just depends on what bid your bid will tell you if you need the SIC code or the DUN number. You definitely gonna have to have your NAICS codes though in, because you have to have those, down somewhere, and those are interchangeable. And again, when you're making real money, there aren't a lot of rules. You know what I mean? Like people aren't gonna really tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. The government is like, look, here's the money, get it done, and won't want no problems. We want it on budget, and we want it safe, and we want it timely. That's pretty much the name of the game. So your NAICS codes have to be in, but NAICS codes are just, interchangeable. You can go in a system and change, add, subtract, or do what you want with those. And that's relegated to that specific solicitation that she's going after.
Okay. Somebody asked me, they said, what does taking the blue pill mean? It's a prevailing ideology that somewhat means to defeat the matrix or to reproposition it, because theoretically there's no defeating the matrix. You have to do it from within. Okay. So you have to go inside of the matrix to move some things around, right? And to readjust some things. And when I looked at that movie, The Matrix, Matrix 3 in particular, Neo didn't defeat the Matrix, right? He renegotiated the contract.
Boom.
You dig what I'm saying? There's no defeating the Matrix, because when you defeat that one, there's another one waiting for you. More
Yep.
science is a matrix. RBG is a matrix. The conscious community is a matrix. You feel me? This matrix is within matrices within matrix, right? You tap out of this thing, you might be heading to another matrix,
Right.
unbeknownst to you. You feel me? But I know one thing in particular, you're gonna have to tap out to find out,
That's a
because you
fact.
ain't escaping no matrix here.
That's a fact. That's a
Okay.
fact.
Somebody asked, on average, how much could you get per contract, or depends on the service provided?
It depends on the service provider. I mean, there are all kinds of. I mean, 2,000 to 200 million. I mean, it just depends on the service. Um, yeah, it just depends on the service. But the good thing about it is they're limitless in number, so you can have as many of them as you can handle at one time.
Indeed. All right. So that's very interesting, family. It's scalable. You dig what I'm saying? You could go from a Willie to a Big Willie to Big William. You know, it's all within your wherewithal.
All within your wherewithal. That's a fact. Listen, and if I'm doing it and I did it like how I did it, I literally, there was no manual. I just jumped and went for
Right.
it.
Family, if she's doing it, nah.
I'm just saying, like, listen, I did this thing cold turkey. Like, I just did it. Nobody told me what to do. I just did it. Like, and I mean, listen, I'm a black woman. We work this magic every day of the week. Like, they know what I'm talking about.
I know that's right.
Come on. If I can do it, so can you.
Um, Cali Bama Paul asks, have you ever lost a contract?
No.
Whoa, boss.
No, I never lost one. I've I have won by price, but I lost because I didn't really like these contracts are when it's time to turn in proposals, they're very expensive, just depending on, what they call for
Mm-hmm.
in the proposal. I have won twice now. Is it twice? Yeah. Twice by price. Like I outbid the person. But because again, I was, just trying it, I like left something out, and I didn't win because I didn't follow all the directions. I mean, hey, being honest here, right? Um, and that's how I'm able to help you guys.
Okay. And another person asks, okay, so how many contracts have you done in a year when your gears were full throttle?
Shit. 1, 2, 3. In 1 year, I'm on about contract number 1, 2, 3. I'm on about number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are not. Some of them are Like I have the ones for snow, they're for 5 months, but they're for 4 years. So for the
Right.
next 2 years, I know I have that money for those 5 months um, of the
In the
next two
bag.
years,
Right.
right in the bag. And that could change tomorrow. I could get another one tomorrow, and this too is like planting seeds. The one I was telling you about with my mentor, the $750 million one,
Mm-hmm.
she bidded that back in 2012. She didn't get it to 2015.
Mm.
So it's a lot of seeds you'll plant. I've won them too, where I've won them outright, and then they put them on hold, or just different things happen in the agency, and then you'll go back, and go on with your life, and then the next year they pop up and say, "Hey, remember that contract you bid it? Oh, well, guess what? We're ready."
Win, 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 win.
Win, win, win. So it's just like life, you just planting seeds, and
Right.
you watering them, and
And watering them and they just be
yeah,
sprouting
they
when
just
you
be
least
sprouting.
expect it. Like, oh, me
Yeah,
for real?
I mean, 130,000, $115,000 a piece for 5 months. That could really be my whole year if I was, that's all I wanted to do. But that's five
Right.
little months in one year for 4 years that I know for that 5 months I have that money coming in.
All right. Sister Brit asks, so there has to be specific wording. I went to an event, but the guy asked for a rack on the spot in order to get his book on how to apply for the money to get started.
No, he was trying to take you for a ride. That's what he was doing.
Huh.
Yeah, that's crazy. A rack on the spot. Wow. No, you. I hope you didn't give him. I hope she didn't give him money.
Yes, sis. We hope that you ain't coughed that 1,000 up.
Yeah, I hope not. Definitely hit me up. Don't do that one.
Oh, she said SMH. Damn.
Damn, did she pay it?
Um, she might have. Floss and Daily asks, well, how did you find out about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what led you to get into it? What was your introduction? How did you jump in?
My introduction was let's see. I had done really I had did a really big project. It was like the biggest project I have ever done. It was like a power plant they were building out here. And I was doing the trucking for it, but I was bringing like 25-foot wide impellers and ducts to this power plant. So we had to escort them with, escort cars and all kinds of things, and it was just a whole thing. And so at the end of that project, every month, I was literally, after I paid everybody and everything, I would have like $84,000 in my account. And I was like, holy shit, I'm making a lot of money here. But I still should have made more because it was hard money. Like I was, out on the road late at night, the trucks was breaking down. And I was like, yo, I'm making good money, but it has to be easier than this. So I need more money. Where's the money? Where's the money? Like understanding where the money really came from.
Right.
I had to seriously like fuck. I had to go find the money.
Right.
I went looking for the money, and that's how I
Leave
found
it
it.
up to a melanated woman.
Yeah,
She gonna sniff the bag out and find out how to do it easier, right? Niggas gonna want to tie it up. Like, who got to tie up to get this bag, right?
mm,
A one shot hit, and then be on the feds for the rest of their life.
the rest of your life,
A
and still
woman gonna
didn't get the
find
bag.
out, yeah, how to milk that cow
Yeah, I mean, you really had to
forever.
work
You know what I'm
smarter.
saying? Pass that cow down to her childrens. That's
Exactly.
what women do.
Exactly.
Shout out to y'all.
Thank you. And think about it. I mean, even if it took me 13 years to get to this point. Even if it took you four, you prefer 4 years or 13 years?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Win, 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 win.
Win, 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 win.
Yes, indeed. So, if there's no more questions in the queue in the chat, y'all, I'm gonna give you a few more minutes. All right. If there's any more questions out there, please bring them to the table. Let it be known. I'm gonna let this young lady go and get her rest because I'm sure that she got some business to attend to, or some family business, because that's all business at the end of the day. And I do want to remind the family we will be in Las Vegas next week this time.
That's right.
Okay. Uh I'll be getting the name mixed up. Give me one second. Ain't no good.
No
Wait.
good. No good.
It's called Kemet in the Desert. All right. And we will be in Las Vegas Thursday night. Our brother, Professor Jabari, right? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm not gonna chop it up, but you know the brother from live from Sinetta's couch. Okay, our brother, the scholar extraordinaire, brother Jabari. He will be in Las Vegas. Okay, bringing his scholarly work to the desert, Kemet in the desert, and we will be doing our presentation on Friday night. Okay, in Las Vegas as part of they have a Black History Month extravaganza that they put on. This the 6th year, and we've been doing radio in Las Vegas leading up to this event, and that has been an amazing experience. You know what I'm saying? Like every other Friday, we did one this afternoon. Well, it was afternoon for us. It was 10 a.m. in Vegas, and I know that you know what I'm saying. Like people do not be waking up, getting dressed, you know what I'm saying, jumping in the car or be at work and turn on the radio and expect to hear what they heard me and Red getting into. Like
Wow.
we be going in on their radio, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Um it's conversational, but you know, we get into a little flow because we talking about hip hop and there's just so much fresh content in the news, you know what I'm saying, in the media for us
Right.
to bounce off of to really, you know what I'm saying, make the narrative what it is. So yeah, we just be like lightning rods, just bing, 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 bing. So we look forward to coming out to Vegas. You know, Vegas has a very special place in the year 2000. We went out to Vegas to the magic show with a friend of mine. Vinny was out there. My dude Vinny now, he's Vinny vegan. You know, he changed his life around. We was out there with my cousin Teach. Teach changed his life around. You know, Teach owns House of Mac in Miami. Vinny Vegan, you know what I'm saying? He owns Gangsta Vegan, which is a vegan establishment. He just opened a restaurant in Miami as well, you know, selling vegan foods. You know what I'm saying? All of us come from the street, you know. At the time we was dealing with clothes, we was still boosting though. But we learned the game and we were introduced to a lot on that particular trip in Vegas. And I remember after Vegas, I went to LA. That was my first time out west, I think. You know what I'm saying? We went cross desert and went to LA to see my mama. She was working with Sabi at the time. And I remember like it was just an extravagant, an amazing experience. Um some things happened out there when I went to Venice Beach. You feel me? I seen some reptilians. That's a whole nother story. Um but we had met an elder out there named Modog, right? Modog Sirius is really his name. This elder's been studying intergalactical. Like he was the Delbert before I met Delbert, and that's the first year that I heard about Delbert from an elder named Robert Smalls. He had introduced me to Lester Lovin, the scientific extraordinaire. He told me about Delbert Blair. He was telling me about aliens and everything. I had already had an encounter, and when I met Modog, Modog just like blew my whole, you know what I'm saying, mental away with the stuff that he was introducing to us. And he gave me a bunch of books. He gave me Mad David Icke books. He gave me a bunch of VHSs at the time. Art Bell. He told me to listen to Coast to Coast Radio, and it kind of like really set me up for my, you know, my speed introduction in 2001 when I really had, you know, a Kundalini burst, and I just could not, you know, go back to the normal me. You feel me? I had to make some decisions, and That's when I was working at Four Corners, which was a newspaper. I met Black Dot, and we came up with this idea at the time to create a venue that we can bring Dr. Valentine in to speak to youth, because that's what he said that he wanted to do. He said that, he wanted to get this information to the young hip hop generation. And me and Dot, with the help of A. Rashid, who was giving us a level of mentorship from the visiting floor. I was going to see him at the time, and he put us together with some other people who were able to fund that endeavor. And that created the metaphysical underground, which people call the conscious community today, the hip hop version. You know what I mean? So Vegas is very special in that respects. That started me on a journey, and I look forward to going back because Vegas is a magical place.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yep.
And I'm gonna get to see y'all again. Boom. There it is.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. I look forward to it. You know. So yes, indeed, y'all. Yeah. Shout out to Black Dot, and the Urban X podcast. That's the truth. Him and Malcolm. Shout out to Brother Rich. He just had AA on the other night. Um, what else? Shout out to KTL Arts Degree with the Blue Blockers. Shout out to Red Pill. Shout out to Bella.
Yeah. Shout out to
All
Red
right.
One.
Yeah. Shout out to all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Here in the chat tonight. What am I leaving out? Yeah, tomorrow, if you are in the city of Atlanta, we're also having a Sankofa pop up. This is going to be at Wadata, Atlanta. I believe that's 878 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, Wadata Healthy Market. I just put a video up about 2 hours ago of an interview that I did with the proprietor of the event, Nalaji. She's also a serial entrepreneur, and give a shout out, to her and all of the women who, the hardest job as a serial entrepreneur that you all have is being a mother. Shout out to all of the mothers. Feel me? Shout out to Mama Pill.
Right.
Shout out to all of the Umis out there. That's serial entrepreneurship for your ass right there. You
Got
know what
that
I'm
right.
saying? Feel me? So yeah, y'all. That's the wave. Like, if you're gonna be in the city of Atlanta, come through to the pop up. I should have some pumpkin pies in the building. You feel me? I don't know if I'm gonna have anything else right now. It's getting kind of late, but yeah, you know. And if nothing else, you feel me? Like, allow this episode to really be, you know, just a breath of fresh air, and a window of opportunity when, there's little to none opportunities being given. It was heartbreaking the way that I seen people in distress when they thought that government assistance was going to run out because of the lockdown. I was traveling around the country, so I just didn't see it. While I was physically, I seen it everywhere that I went. There was a lot of distress. I overheard a lot of conversations, and I think that people need to take advantage of the opportunities that are afforded to them in real time. And move forward with this information because nobody's coming to save you. You know what I'm saying? And real talk, like, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. You know what I mean? So this is the opportunity that we do have, those who do care, to do something with what we have access to do. You know what I'm saying? We could disseminate information. We could bring forward the people that can help you in real time, get some real things done. You know what I mean? So that within itself, to me, what I'm saying, means a lot.
Right.
And this is my overture. This is the opportunity that I have to help in real time. All right, passing this information along because I know that it could change lives.
Exactly. Change mine.
You dig? So, Cash App, dollar sign, Blue Pillar 44, right? Because the love be real slim, real slim. You dig what I'm saying? But they don't know how to value a brother like me. You know what I mean? They're gonna miss me when I'm gone again. It's cool. Feel me? I just swoop in, I do my community service, then I'm back in the clouds. Got a whole lot going on, right? But you got a cash app too. You gave them a lot of cloth. You dig what I'm saying? Like, let them know it's good. Tell them that cash app. Don't be scared.
My Cash App is $ the compass circle.
The compass circle.
The compass circle.
That's right.
Boom.
Right.
Boom. She got it. I got them.
Got it.
So I just want to leave you guys real quick with again, it's imperative, you guys, if you do nothing else, get those capability statements together. I cannot tell you how many times I ask people, do you have one? And they're like, no, what is it? Come on. If we're gonna be next level, we gotta be next level. Okay.
That's right.
Presentation is everything. You could have 2 tables. One could have wobbly legs, but it could have nice china, a nice tablecloth. And you could have one that's sturdy as hell, but nothing on it. Who do you think the people are gonna pick? The one with the presentation. Same thing with you. You might not know, you might not totally believe in yourself, but you have me to help you and put you on the right track and give you that presentation. And you can start there.
Yeah, we are past the midnight mark, so watch for all of the Wakanda memes that are gonna be popping up tomorrow. People gonna all of a sudden remember that it was Wakanda forever. They dropped that shit after 2 months, but they back at you now because we on the anniversary today. So
Damn.
Wakanda forever.
Oh shit.
All right.
All right.
And with that, family, I want to say peace, love, and light. We will be back with more programming, more episodes coming forward. You know, next week sometime. I don't know if it's gonna be Monday and Tuesday or just Monday. I mean, or just Tuesday, should I say? But we will be back. What we come back with, you know, I don't know as of yet. You know what I'm saying? We might do Tough Talk Tuesday again. We might give it another week. We might give you a breather, come with something different. We might get back to trending topic Tuesdays. We might do something different, you know. But nonetheless, we will be back with powerful programming, paradigm shifting information. You dig what I'm saying? And hopefully video and audio. Even though I really appreciate this format because you get straight into the information.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? You're forced to listen. So I want to appreciate you. I want to say thank you, sister Casey Cooper, and shout out and acknowledgement to the Compass Circle. You know what I mean? And all of the women entrepreneurs out there. Shout out to Aquarius Maximus.
Absolutely.
Feel me? And because she's definitely gonna be on this program very shortly as well.
Yes.
All right, the Guap Coin. All
Yes.
right, and yes, also put a video up yesterday for the Smoke and Grow Rich tour. Once again, another opportunity for people to tap into a federally mandated opportunity to get in at the beginning of a budding industry, right? Just like we had our brother Chicago crypto hustler telling you about the cryptocurrency, that budding revolutionary industry. These are all game changers. This
Yes.
is stuff that we're going to look at 5 and 10 years from now. And this is going to change, and terraform the landscape of everything.
Yes.
And you're going to be like, God damn, they was on top of that again. Another thing, I'm tired of all of that. You feel me? Like, get on board with us. You know what I'm saying? Boss up so we could be on a yacht with Mayweather.
Oh my God.
Boycott this boy on the yacht, right?
Wow.
You feel me? We on a triple deck peeing on him and Polite Head on the second deck. Like, come on. Y'all ain't go up. Y'all can't even, this is the billionaire deck. Y'all can't come up here. You feel
Exactly.
me?
Exactly.
So, that's how you pay them back. Get your weight up, pay them back when you're bigger.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But it all starts here. You know what I'm saying? We all got decisions to make. And the layout is clear. You know what I'm saying? You got cryptocurrency, you got, the whole cannabis industry, which is inclusive of marijuana, CBD, and hemp, right? Now you got federal contracting, right? And we're gonna give you a few more before, we disappear again. You know what I mean? So you can't have that conversations about, oh man, all y'all niggas cut that out. But all y'all niggas do is talk. Look, not today. Stop all that. You feel me? But with that, y'all, I want to say peace, love, and light. Once again, thank you for blessing us with this boundless amount of information and opportunity.
Thank you for having me, Blue. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Oh,
Shout
for
out to Empress
sure.
Brown for holding it down in the comments. As
Oh,
always.
shout out to Empress for holding it down. Right? Yes, indeed. Yeah, shout out to the shifters too. All right.
All right.
All right, y'all. Peace,
Peace.
love, lights. Chill.